he thinks maybe LGD didn't draft as strongly as they could have. Maybe there were better counters in there, so it would be surprising to see them go both the same way, wouldn't it?
I think it's really risky for LGD to draft the same thing. I think they'll probably change at least one of the cores, Storm Spirit plus...
Empire's turn to ban.
And Bounty Hunter is the type of hero where those kills that Empire got, and that it wasn't enough to actually break the base or to win the game. With Bounty Hunter, it can be enough. With the track gold, getting all those kills early on can be... It can be decisive. LGD might lose the game if they drop, like if they feed that much.
And it also makes it feel like they're not on a timeline, because it lets your like Witch Doctor farm Ags up, and you know, having farm supports is crucial in this patch. And yeah, it just doesn't make you feel like, oh, we have to end this game by 25 minutes. We need to take a Rax right now. We have to take Roshan. We can't let them get it, because as soon as LGD gets Roche, it's bad news bears for Empire, and Bounty Hunter can just extend this timeline by a very large margin.
Are you a drafter, Jeremy? Do you draft?
Yeah, we do at times, but you know, I'm not usually great at it. So I'm just listening and trying to hear what everybody's saying right now, because it is there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, you can't see it on screen right now, but Jeremy's actually got a notebook under the desk. He's busy scribbling stuff down, taking out of here.
Team Empire's turn to ban.
Well, the PL ban has to be a bit of a respect ban. Obviously, it was a big factor in game 1, so Empire don't want to deal with that again, which is completely understandable. And like LGD is doing the exact same. They're like, I think they actually banned the same 3 heroes that they did so far, and they did in the game 1.
I think the other one was Sanking as well.
Yeah, so far the same. And then the 2 picks. You know, LGD feels pretty confident, but that's also the good thing about Open with Dazzle Tusk, is that it doesn't reveal anything. We could say they're going for their like split push lineup again. They could pick Anti-Mage and play the same way, or they can switch it around completely and be very aggressive with those heroes.
I mean, that's the importance of having a very versatile opening. You don't want to give opponent too much info in what you're gonna do in the game.
That's interesting though, the Wisp ban suddenly. It was ignored in game 1.
Yeah.
And now it's the Wisp ban with the same picks.
They don't have the Naga at this time.
Yep. It is quite interesting. Yeah, the Naga is actually a good counter to Wisp, so maybe they felt
check 1-2, 1-1-2 check.
They had Naga, and they don't want this time around.
Got it. Can we open up the settings?
Could be an explanation, yeah. So they let Anti-Mage through.
Yeah.
LGD's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Lina. Team Empire's turn to pick.
Changing up things a bit. They let AM and they let Lina. And we could see Lina into AM. So, I mean, it's a classic LGD lineup. Now they just grab the Lina. It's most likely going to be a support. I don't think they run Lina core at all.
Don't run Lina core. It's mostly for the dual lane with the Tusk.
So very strong lanes, and that's what you want to have versus Bounty Hunter, because Bounty Hunter is that hero where if you have weak lanes, he's going to destroy you completely.
Reserve time.
Yeah, especially with the Queen of Pain. There's a lot of openings like in the middle lane, because Corp will always generally make the mid hero low on HP.
And, okay, that's very interesting. They grabbed the Anti-Mage for themselves. That's what they let it through. That's very interesting. It was also very... It was risky, because they could have picked Anti-Mage third for LGD.
I think this opens up LGD to run like offensive duo or tri-lane though, pressured Anti-Mage.
Lycan. Team Empire's turn to pick.
Aggressive from LGD. And they're not even dire, so they're not even counting on the Roshan potential. They just want to have strong lanes, because Lycan is a strong laner. If you have like strong laners already, the Hall is going to make them even stronger. And they're looking to push. You know, the very weak, like the weakness of Empire's draft right now is that they have very bad anti-push.
And no stuns as well for Lycan.
So it's really hard for, exactly, Lycan can do whatever he wants in the fights. So anti-mage is going to be split pushing, you know, but split pushing versus Lycan that probably has a Necro 3 hitting your base, it doesn't work.
I'm hearing a Magnus here.
Yeah, confirmed.
Even though the openers were the same, I think like the strategy for both teams has completely flipped, actually.
Exactly, it's funny because you can't afford a mistake versus that lineup, right? Versus anti-mage Bounty Hunter, if you like lose the fight 4-0 or whatever, then the game is insanely tough.
Do you think there's some brinkmanship going on because the opening 3 picks were exactly the same as the first one, and maybe one of the teams wanted the other team to think that that's what they were going to do, straight pick again?
It definitely could have been a mind game between the two captains or the two teams if they draft collectively.
I think
what we have now is almost very different.
It is.
It is very different, but I think there's similarities between the two games. Like first game, LGD was on Dire side. They played a much more late game orientated lineup, and Team Empire's game, they're on the Dire and they're going for late game as well. So it tells us that the teams on the Dire side will prioritize having the Rotan, so we go for a much more late game of play, whereas the team on the Radiant would be on the pushing side of things.
Yeah, definitely. And Empire with that Magnus pick, they revealed that it's most likely going to be a co-op mid because AM's probably going to be safe lane and Magnus is going to be on the off lane. And LGD can still decide the hero they want to put against the co-op. It's a co-op plus Bounty Hunter, so it's very scary to play mid versus that combo.
There's still a Viper though.
It's one of the hardest combo. Like co-op Bounty Hunter, like they can have a lot of killing potential. They have Hall, so it's going to be... I think this is very risky. In my opinion, this Storm pick can be a big issue for LGD. They're gonna have to rotate supports there because the Storm alone versus Quap and Bounty Hunter, I don't think he can survive that lane.
I mean, he has hull damage from Lycan, and obviously the Dazzle would get an early teleport score just in case to react towards the Bounty Hunter's movement towards the lane.
Yeah, but then it's the Lina Lycan lane. You know, I feel like Empire can use that Storm pick. Sure, it's a very good pickup because, as you said earlier, they have very few disables, but I could see Empire crushing the laning.
I think their main plan is just pressure to AM, so the Bounty Hunter actually has to leave the lane. If the Bounty Hunter can't stay mid, and they have to have 2 supports to fend off that aggressive duo or tri-lane, I think that will definitely open things up for Storm Spirit.
Like, the move for Empire right now is to abandon AM, honestly. If they try to protect AM and Co-op loses to Storm, that gets help from the supports in the hall, like, the game is going to be a disaster. They need to sack AM completely, let him XP, and just win the other lanes. Give space to Magnus, shut down the Storm, and AM will catch up eventually.
Do you think they could switch up the lanes as well? Like put the Co-op on the safe lane and put anti-mage mid against Storm?
They could, but it's going to be a tough matchup for him, I think. Especially with the Hall. It's going to be very hard to go for the last hits.
Yeah, their last support has to be someone that can do a lot of work early game.
They need an aggressive support.
Yeah. It's someone that can kill, like, because after RP they need a support to deal damage. I'm thinking maybe Skyroth, it could deal with the Storm, and it's a lot of bursts and very good at roaming early.
It can do that. That hero can do a lot for actually versus what they have. And he roams a lot, disrupting on Lohaden, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays it.
Okay, quickly then, all 4 of you, quick predictions. Jeremy, I'm going to start with you. Based on the draft, what do you think? Who do you feel drafted better?
I actually like Team Empire's lineup. I think the disruptor is really good for Storm. I think anti-mage is going to be good for Storm if you can get strong enough. I actually like Team Empire.
Okay. Winter?
I think Team Empire doesn't have the time to get, so I like LGD's lineup more.
Okay. So
I go Empire.
Okay.
I like LGD's more. I think the Lycan's going to push early.
Okay, we've got two versus 2 up here on the desk. Very interesting indeed. It's all tied. Let's find out from our commentary team where they think this one's going. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. It's game 2 with Synderen and Toby 1.
I am grouping my seat, Paul, ready to go for game number 2, LGD versus Empire. Synderen, man, I'm loving LGD's early aggression, but Team Empire's team fight control is looking good.
I've got to go with, who was it? Was it Merlin Winter that favored LGD?
Yes.
I think
Winter's words were, there is no time for Empire.
Yeah, the amount of pressure that LGD can output in the early game if their lanes go well, I think Empire simply won't be able to find the time to come back here. And if you look at ease of execution and what Empire actually need to do, they don't have an obvious setup or an obvious way to gank. You can try to gank with Bounty Hunter and Quap's lane, which is great, but how do you secure your AM the early game? Disruptor, not a good defensive support for him. Bounty can't really help that much. Whereas for LGD, there's just way more flexibility. They can engage with the Storm, they can engage with Tusk, they have lots of spell burst, they have the split push of Lycan at the same time to force heroes to move around.
Yep.
And then they have the Grave, which this time is not countered by Axe, which makes a huge difference the last game for Empire that they had that Grave counter. I think Empire's draft is very greedy, and I think it's to the point where it's going to be too greedy for them, just like they said.
But if it does pay off, then
if
Team
it does
Empire
work, their late game
secured.
is extreme, but...
Yeah, but a lot of it's going to come down to the pressure applied by Aloha Dance on that Bounty Hunter. And I really want to keep close eyes on Always Wanna Fly. This disruptive play from Team Empire, it's not the first time, and it definitely won't be the last time we see it coming out from Empire. They love using this hero as a big favorite hero of the CIS scene, and they are just so good at it. If they can get one big combo, especially from fighting inside their base, it doesn't matter how tanky you'll be on the Lycan, you might just lose everyone else in your game. And now already Sentry Ward down for the Radiant side. They are trying to keep Aloha Dance out of this middle lane, but they actually de-warded. So Sentry Ward's down, you gotta be quick on the tangos. And these Sentry Wars just can't survive, but Aloha Dance has one more, and there's nothing left here for LGD.
That's a clear win for Empire. The Bounty Hunter will definitely be able to rotate mid here. I'm surprised Xiao Wei went for the second Sentry, because even if it works, Aloha Dance can trade again, and he will get the advantage. So,
essentially, all you got to use is a tango. That's all. One tango charge.
It's a big change. I think when the patch notes came out, a lot of people just underestimated how much it would mean that you could tango wards, but it's huge for a place like this. Now, Xiao Wei, okay, this is why he did it. He just bought another pack. They put a lot of emphasis on the mid lane, but this is already a head start for Empire. Resolution's going to have a pretty good time here in the lane, and they have the AM farming. I'm actually surprised we don't see more pressure applied from LGD to try to stop the AM's farm this early.
Yeah,
they're just playing an off-lane Tusk against him.
That's it. It's just Yao. But at the same time, you could look at Yoku on this offlane as the Magnus. He's in a position now where he's fairly happy, and MMY's been doing a pretty good job of trying to keep him off the lane. So there's 0-0 CS right now for Yoku, but he's about to claim his first one here. So
he's getting experience though.
Yeah. And that really is like, maybe that's the bigger question to ask. Like right now, is Yao getting as much as Yoku? Gold and experience, what's more valuable to both players?
I would say the Tusk is more flexible without gold, whereas Magnus really relies on a Blink Dagger to have a big impact on the game.
Sylar, middle lane, the blink down into the tower. Resolution getting very over-aggressive. Living up to game number 1 silent play on that Queen of Pain, but he's going to push Sylar all the way back to base. This Lycan is going to get completely out-leveled now by Resolution.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the logic was for LGD. I feel like somehow they've been out-mind-gamed, if you will. That Empire just put the standard lanes and that they were expecting something else to happen, because for me it's not very logical how they put their lanes with what they're matching up against. The mid lane, Lina Lycan is not good against co-op. You have no catch. Sure, you can harass a bit with Dragon Blade, but that's it. Resolution's still going to do fine. Uncontested AM. And at the same time, even the Magnus in the bottom lane is still getting his. So I want to say Empire are doing well in all 3 lanes. And I'm surprised LGD haven't adapted much yet. They still run their Lina Lycan mid here.
Yeah, they're actually looking like Team Empire, looking very solid. Stun on Resolution in the... as you said, there's no catch. You might get that first Light Strike array, you turn on Hal. But where's your follow-up damage? The Wolves can dive under the tower, but Resolution has Blink. He can keep distance on them if he's really pressured into it. And to this point now, we see Team Empire, like, AMH getting early farm. He's got a PMS as well as having the Quelling Blade. Do you almost feel confident enough that you go directly into Battle Fury? Or do you finish up Treads, you go for another early game item? Because he just actually bought... Okay, he's buying the Glove of Face instead.
Interesting.
Actually gave up the Belt of Giant Strength for that.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get Treads. Else it makes no sense at all to buy the glove, unless you want to go for the super old school Midas, which is not a build anymore, I would say. No, not on this hero.
Well, not when you've got like an Animage with no one else trying to contest his jungle. That's the other side about Team Empire. The Bounty wants to go on a hunt, the Magnus wants to go on a hunt, and if you need to, you can just give the buff up as well for the Empower. Sentry Ward's down, he's going to get snowballed, but he's out of range of the shot. He pushed him up onto the hillside. The downside for Aloha Dance is he's got no way down. But on the bright side, LGD can't reach him.
He's going to need to ferry out a TP now from the base without getting noticed, and I think fortunately for Aloha Dance, LGD probably didn't realize that, because else they could just camp and snipe the courier and or the bounty on the way out.
I think he's asking his teammate. I think always when a fly's going to buy one from the side shop, or no, is it coming? It's coming on the courier now. But he's right in the edge of the cliffside. At least it's a wonderful seat in the house of TI5 to watch the game go by. But you want to be involved. So there's your treads up for Silent. We are 440 in, but it's 31 CS so far in for the anti-mage against your bigger hero like this. It's the Lycan, the one we're looking to have some kind of like big effect early on and push. Wow. He's only got 20 CS in this mid lane.
He actually TP'd mid instead of to base, so he's got to be bottled by Resolution here or salved. He has 200 health. There's no way he can make an aggressive play right now. Oh, okay. That's pretty confident.
What, to see Yoku come in like this?
No, Aloha Dance in the mid lane, they just goes in and melee. He works with 200 health on the enemy cliff. Like, if there's a support there, he's dead, but they might know Xiao 8 is hanging out top right now. And
he might just be baiting Silent to the front line. Like,
this looks like the first play from LGD to try to contest the AM, but it's just too late. And I'm wondering, okay, so here's my point. What if LGD just put their Storm mid or safe lane, which would have been a matchup against Quap and Bounty. I know they were scared of it. It would have been a problem. You could have contested the aim, and Lycan could have been in the other lane, and you play an aggressive trial lane with Dazzle, Lina, and Tusk. AM is in so much trouble. Even if it's just the Dazzle there, the physical damage from Shadow Wave ruins his lane phase. But instead, Dazzle has been bottom the whole time. They could have, if they wanted to put some pressure, just put Dazzle top and just let maybe solo bottom against the Mag.
There is one big upside. Yoku has just wasted the last minute and maybe a minute and a half waiting on the mid lane for the Lycan to be in a slight position where he can skew with a shockwave. And you actually also saw the level up here from Resolution. He went directly into the Sonic Wave. So he's got a 2-1-2-1 build coming in from this Queen of Pain. Not a lot of early harass, but if Magnus could get the initial grab, he'll be looking very, very good to get the kill.
I generally disagree when Queens of Pain don't get Sonic Wave on level 6. I think most of the time, you know, back in the day it was more common to like max out the Scream of Pain and then get Sonic Wave after.
Yep.
But since it's become pure damage, it's just such an incredibly powerful tool on level 6. So I'm happy to see Resolution do it. It's often that we see players who go 2 points in Shadow Strike first will get the 3rd point in Scream before Sonic, or maybe even the 4th. I just feel like it just doesn't have the same kind of impact. It's good. It's better for pushing out the waves fast and for farming jungle. But as far as kill potential goes, you want that wave.
I want to ask you a question as well. Is this worth it from Xiao Wei? He has spent, I think, 800 gold in the first 7 minutes on just sentry wards. Like, they're seeing the rotation of the bounty hunter. They haven't lost a courier, yay. But is it worth crippling your Lina to a point where she doesn't even have boost? She's got no items whatsoever. Finding levels in the mid, but that's all.
I mean, it's great to counter out the bounty hunter, but essentially you're breaking even at best with the bounty. It's Lina right now. And I would say, yes, it's worth it if you're winning the farm war because of it, but you're not. Like, you're just trading against a team that we agreed had a greedy draft and would probably do very well late game, but wouldn't have time. LGD is giving them lots of time. Just like, here, have some time.
Hey, what are they?
They're not really paying for it. And
no, they're not.
I can't remember who in the panel it was who was like, it's pretty confident that they go for the Storm Spirit into the Antimate pick, which it is.
Yep.
But it's a very interesting matchup where if Storm has safe lane farm and gets a quick Orchid, he actually has a lot of pickup potential against the AM until he gets his Manta style. But in this game, the Antimage is farming at such a quick pace, Storm Spirit is still behind him on farm that it might just almost overlap.
Sara's going to be annoyed about that. He was sitting right on top of the regeneration rune and Bounty Hunter just steals it out from below him. To also say who it was Winter who knew what was coming. He was the one that predicted the anti-mage. That's Sylar, like, just back into the jungle. How do you even... Okay, so this Lycan, he's got some decent farm, but he doesn't look strong enough to go up against Team Empire right now. They've got to get worried too that Magnus has found some levels. He's got RP, not Manda really supported, even though he does have Arcane Boots worth of farm. But you're going to push into what? Force down a tier 1 tower? Where's your aggression meant to come? You already said yourself, they can't gank Silent. He's already at a point where they can't kill him.
They have a couple of plays. They can try to sneak a Roche, which is very risky against a bounty hunter and almost impossible to pull off. Or they could draw attention with a gank from...
Just do this from Aloha Dance. This could be the first blood. Aloha Dance, there it is. And almost 9 minutes into the game, LGD are finally able to find something on Team Empire, but it's just shy of level 4 bounty hunter only, while Animage is still free on the top lane to do whatever he wants.
think if you're LGD, either you start split pushing more with Lycan in bot lane and you force rotations that way, and it opens up the map for ganks from Tusk, who's closing in on level 6. Or you do it with Lycan off the map and he sneaks a Roshan. Meanwhile, something like that could work. The flat 5-on-5, I think, is LGD may be slightly favored right now, but it's just no, they're actually not even favored with Queen of Pain being level 8 now. I think the burst damage from Empire's team is just going to be too much to deal with.
Can they still find a quick pickoff? Because I'm looking at Storm Spirit at level 8. He's coming down for the 10-minute rune, and Aloha Dance is going to chase him down. There's no vision for Aloha Dance. In fact, Yao is already TPing out. They're bringing players to the top lane, so both Zhao 8 as well as Yao. Smoking up for an opening, but Resolution? Nah, they're not close enough to maybe to have a crack. Maybe now he jumps in like this. But they won't follow it up. He's keeping attention away. Stuns to the front lines. Yao ready to snowball him, but always want to fly. Starts both the ulti and the wall, and they're going to snowball underneath the tower. Resolution! There's your big sonic wave! Returning into LGD, punching the mana void, doing very, very little. But at the same time, blinking down further. Silent, too aggressive. Back into the fight. It's going to be LGD getting the revenge kill, and what a big one as well. It's the anti-mage. Replay game 1?
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, it's unfortunate because we don't want to harp on it too much, but again, his blinks are just so aggressive. You know, he was very close to getting the kill on the Tusk, and he was probably frustrated that his ultimate didn't give anything. But he still went for it, and that is a very big price to pay there.
Okay, so LGD is setting up everything underneath the Dire Observe ward on the top lane. Empire read what's going on, obviously because they can see it all, and then just push into the middle lane. The bottom lane's already got a little momentum behind it as well, and LGD, they might be able to do some damage to the tower. It is kind of like game 1 again. Silo, wow, that's a lot of damage into you. Resolution's liking to drop him low. But it's the fact that you take a fight, or you lose a fight, but you still come back and you push down the tower. It seems to be like LG's plan against Team Empire. But Silence on bottom lane with the catapult there. The tower's at a half-life. The middle lane just above is like about maybe 2/3. Underneath the Sentry Ward, Bounty Hunter sitting there. The Sentry Ward's only got 8 seconds left on it, however. And they're just trying to be a nuisance to Sylar. But this is almost a straight trade-off. Like, Yao comes to defend up against Silent, but he's fine with this. And there goes your first tower. The tier 1 tower dropped on top.
And this is pretty important. This gives them access into the Dire jungle. The good news for Empire is that they still have the top ward for 3.5 minutes. And Yao was going for a very, very unlikely to hit Snowball there.
You're using Snowball against a lineup which has 2 blinks and a skewer. And then the potential to glimpse you out the second you jump in. It's a danger world.
It's interesting to see Yao without any point in sigil yet. I feel like it's unusual for Tusk's level 7 to do this. The second level in Snowball is great for laning.
Could be in trouble right now. That's going to be enough damage. Resolution double damage rune. That's where the extra bit came from. So they get rid of these Lycan morphs as quick as they can.
Bottom tower is under attack.
So we're moving back into farming. So they give Aloha Dance his level 6 space. Yoku's still away from that blink dagger. Like, should you be looking, like, getting level 6 on Bounty Hunter is obviously going to be a brilliant thing. But should you be looking to get this blink dagger onto Yoku as a higher priority?
I think they can just get both at the same time, right? Just let Yoku take the farm and Bounty Hunter take the experience. I mean, obviously they would share in that case, but right now Aloha Dance is in the jungle getting experience from the Vul camp, but now he's going to rotate over to the top lane, so they'll be getting both at a pretty decent timing. This Magnus, he has 38 CS minute 13 in the Dire off lane. That's really good.
Anti-Mage is also now only 1,000 gold away from that Battle Fury with 13 minutes into the game.
And that's including treads and with a death.
Yep.
Without the death, he would have almost had it by now. Because it's not the gold he loses, but it's the gold he doesn't gain while he's dead that hurts the most.
Here comes that LGD pressure. They'll take the tier 1 tower, always gonna fly. Venturing close to the cliffside where the LGD are currently smoking up. They'll leave an aggressive ward behind. They're pinging out the top lane again. I don't know if they're looking at Silent and wondering if they can do something about him.
That's level 6 in Aloha Dance.
Still no level 6 over on the Lina, so there's no burst coming from that. And yeah, Aloha Dance just walks over Sylar, puts a track on him so he can see what's going on. And anyway, just going to blink into the trees. Probably wants to get away. Storm Spirit jumps in, gets the dust. Maybe there's enough mana left here with stick charges to ensure the kill on Bounty Hunter. So nice little snipe there from LGD.
This is a big kill for them to get. Maybe gets another 300 gold, and his Orchid timing is very crucial in the game. I think LGD are not really, I mean, it's hard to tell, but with the lanes they did, maybe they are satisfied with the amount of pressure they've put so far with 2 towers in 14 minutes, but they have to know AM and co-op have good farm. If he gets that Orchid that little bit earlier, it can negate the impact the AM could have, or just delay his game impact by 5 minutes, which is a huge deal in a game like this.
Yep.
It allows their lineup to come online way more.
I'm still watching Yoku so closely. Like, if Yoku can get up to that 2250, get the Blink Dagger, then pushes like this from LGD are so much scarier. It's almost like they're trying to capitalize on the time they've got before these things come online.
Absolutely.
So the tier 2 tower is going to drop. Silence almost heading down the bottom tower. Shalway gets the stun. Silent dropping low. There's still no level 6. Now he gets it after Silent blinks away. The Gouda Blade kill would have been close.
Yeah. I think he would have had 100 health after that.
Resolution now. They've actually got Xiaowei and MMY. This could be an easy double kill for him. They just need to burn the mana, and now Xiaowei slow. They Yule set the up with the Sonic Wave, completely blown. The Shock Wolf comes up to ensure the kill. That's actually Yoku's Blink Dagger right there, and they will get MMY. This time they have to wait because there's no Cunning Blade, and Yoku, not a healthy man, but he does pick up the Blink Dagger and a skewer to TP away to safety.
Empire look a bit nervous from that play. The Sonic Wave was off target, or I think it hit none of them. Right?
Yeah, it hit nothing.
It didn't hit the Yule target, didn't hit the one outside Yule's, I think.
Yeah, it was off target completely. It hit nothing.
And then Silent blinks into the trees and gets stuck, but at least he has a Quelling Blade so he could come out and hit there. But they look a little bit shaky here. Still, the game is okay for them. Like they're leading the Golden Experience. The game plan is definitely coming together.
And it's all about the time, isn't it? Like, because Empire's still enjoying their late game. And as the guys in the panel were saying, when you go to Bounty Hunter, you're not feeling the same pressure as Game 1, where you're on the clock. You have to win by a certain point. Like, you can defend from inside your base. You look for the track kills. Sound also, be really careful when you're that low. But it's one of these things where Empire, maybe they're just not feeling as pressured. They might get pressured more now that maybe finishes up this Orchid on the Storm Spirit. So his initiation's becoming better and better.
I really like this skill build from Maybe, by the way, which we almost don't see anymore, and there's a good reason why we don't. Because most of the time, Storm Spirits these days just go 4 in Static Remnant, 4 in Overload, and then you start getting Vortex, because it slows the enemy down, but it also slows your down. I think he is exclusively getting this build. The only reason he's getting it is to counter you. He wants points in Vortex, so he has long lockdown time together with the Orchid. And since the Static Remnant is pretty weak damage to him with his Spell Shield, it's all about the physical damage you can output during these 2 disables. So I like this choice very much in this situation.
Well, it seems to work for now, but later on, that anime is still going to find more and more farm and like more and more strength. T1 tower is spot on bot. There's no fortification, so they can't slow this down. But Yoku's ready to fight. Like, he's in the tree line with a Blink Dagger, and he could potentially just get big RP, but he needs help. Always when it flies in the neighborhood, and that is your help. That's a big disruptor, and he sees Yao, just gonna skewer him up, and now, well, Snowball, but the wall's already there, and Yao, there's nowhere to run away. Storm Spirit wants to jump in. Well, actually, they just jump over to Roshan. Yao is currently gonna get glimpsed back up again. Resolution is here, so Yao will die, but Roshan's already been taken out by LGD.
Easily worth the trade here for LGD. Grabbing the Roshan just for the Tusk kill.
Is it really still though worth it when Silent continues to farm up? Like they get a kill with 2 heroes on bottom, but you're still getting a lot of farm for Empire.
That is still totally worth it for them. They need this Aegis. It's the... You know, it just puts so much more pressure on the map when there's an Aegis on the storm. Like, well, you go for it, here we go. This is a very big...
Jump up.
Okay, he's not...
Silent.
Actually not following through on
yeah, not attacking at all. So, okay, that was anticlimactic.
It almost looked like one of those situations where you jump and you just disconnect. But he didn't want to go for it. I think he might have actually been able to kill him, but he was scared of counterplay from Empire, which wasn't in position at the time. Of course, respecting the potential for Disruptor to come in with a glimpse as well as Static Storm.
If Silent did hit him once though, as you just saw it, like it's only 1 point up in mana break, but one attack dropped maybe down to a point where he only had like another short jump left.
Yeah, he had 200 mana, so he could have... In order to kill the AM there, he has to use his entire mana pool, and then maybe he's afraid it's just going to be a trade, or that he doesn't even get the kill.
Yep.
I want to mention as well that Yoku has gone for...
Oh,
wait a second.
Easy jump.
He is
dust him, and they bring him down.
Kill. So the Magnus this game surprised Yoku went for this skill build. Usually when you're playing with a melee carry in competitive Dota, you like to get more emphasis on Empower and a little bit less on Skewer, so you go like 4-3-2-1 build when you're level 10. but in this case he has maxed out the skewer. Of course it gives more distance and more damage, which is great, but I would say the farming rate for AM in this game it's everything, right? They're building the lineup around AM getting big, so with Empower he can farm a lot faster. And of course it also, his impact in the next 10 minutes, the problem for Magnus is the time it takes for him to get high level Empower now, it's really long because of how long level 11 is. This is going to be another easy kill. Yeah,
they have to get rid of this Observer Ward. Team Empire is just seeing way too much. They threw down the Sentry Ward expecting the Observer to be up on the high ground, but so far every time we look for that ward, it's been on the lower side of the jungle, closer towards the camps. But at the same time, okay, so I keep seeing your point, and I keep seeing like LGD adding pressure after pressure after pressure. It's all built around the AM farm, but Magnus keeps being on the other side of the map. They're trying to gank elsewhere on other heroes, add more pressure. So I can understand how the skewer build's coming in, and then you get Resolution. He completes the Aghanim Scepter now 20 minutes in, after finishing up a Yule Scepter and Treads as well on this Queen of Pain. So it's almost like Empire accepts the fact it will lose all outer towers, and after then does the game begin. Anime just slips through the cracks of the LGD lineup, you find your space to farm up, and then Empire take it with LGD, try and push and take a tier 3 tower. But if they feel pressured to do so.
But that's the whole point, right? You say he's going for a fighting build with a lot of points in skewer, but they're not fighting. So why not go for the farming build if you want to farm and just give up your towers? It seems a little bit strange for me. Now, the thing I do think here is if they are forced into a fight in their base, the extra 2 points in skewer might, like that extra 140 magic damage might actually make a really big difference, because they have to be looking at their lineup and be like, oh, they have to be looking at their lineup and be like, our bounty hunter's dead again.
They're snowballing after him at the moment, and Aloha, hence, it was just on the edge of the range of dust, but it was able to connect. And LGD, this is now the 4th time they've killed off the bounty hunter out of the 7 kills they've got. And Yoku, TP out, Vortex, he's in range for it. Yoku's going to be controlled. No Blink Dagger for him. He actually binds up a staff of wizardry, accepting his fate of death. The shards are coming in too, but maybe will finish the job by himself. And you just got to kill over the Magnus. There's no buyback available, and you just also finish level 3 Necro books on the Lycan. Maybe now is the time.
Oh, that efficiency from Maybe. He actually, I feel like it's very rare we see this, but the regen rune ran out on him. He actually didn't even get full mana from his regen rune. He just kept using it over and over for that kill, and then ultimately it expires, and he just gets full mana from Arcane Boots here, but he used it very well there. And now Aloha Dance, not again.
That's number 5. They need detection, however. They don't have it. They're just trying to do it with AoE, and actually, he walked in range of the Sentry Ward on the hillside, allowing them to find the kill. There is, however, still track on Silent, though Empire have a little bit of vision outside their base, with the Necro units being triggered. To LGD trying to finish this nice and early, get a fresh mana style on Silent as the fight will begin. But the buyback says 1 on Quap and there's 1 on Bounty Hunter. That's all you've got. An early Orchid being used here by Maybe on Resolution. It's holding off the Sonic Wave for now. And Resolution's still going to get rid of these Necro units, but then Storm Spirit jumping on the Quap, Disruptor ulti, they're trying to control the Storm Spirit, and where's Quap? Can't flick away in time. Stalin already did it himself, but these Necro units are chasing up the Storm Spirit. It's only the Aegis of Immortal they might pump here. That's going to be all unless there's some spill damage from the Mana Void, but even then, they're just trying to let him stay alive. It's still a long time. There's your Mana Void. Can't do the work. The regeneration rune. It was actually the Aegis timing they were trying to wait out, and they couldn't wait long enough. The melee rack still drops, and LGD fall back.
Maybe just kept running to them, please kill me. They're like, nope, we're gonna wait for it to expire, and then immediately he gets a burst of mana and jumps out when it does expire there. So LGD got what they came for. And you know, when you look at the overall way this game has gone, and you look at the last hits and denies, if you just bring up the last hit chart, you're like, okay, you just got into the game. It's probably looking pretty good for Empire just based on farm. But the whole way LGD has structured the game is they let AM farm because their timing window, when they're strongest, which is right now at 20, AM will not have peaked. Even with complete free farm right now, he still is not strong enough to fight. He needs another 5 or 10 minutes, and it looks like they've just mapped this out from the start, that we'll let AM farm, in turn we'll farm Storm and Lycan, and we will look for these base pushes around this time before AM gets too strong, instead of contesting him and maybe sacrificing farm on one of our cores for it to shut down the AM, which would slow down our lineup as well. So it makes sense, and I feel like, well, you can't really argue with how LGD has executed this so far. And if nothing else, the way they lane has made Bounty Hunter have like 0 impact in the game.
Storm managed to find Styles, but the mana Styles going to break free. Burn out as much mana as maybe as possible, but he jumps up. There's not a lot left in the tank. And in fact, with Bounty Hunter here, AM needs time. And well, RP, that hold may be in position. The Mana Boy will take him out. That's a lot of money for an anti-mage. Chasing up the Yao. Yao, remember, is also going to be track kills coming their way. Resolution wants to blink ball, so we go into the Yule Scepter. Xiaowei's got his own one. Resolution! Again, a 0-man Sonic Wave. They snowball in. They're chasing after Yoku. He runs to the side and then skewers away to safety, so they cannot reach him. They have triggered the Necro units here, LGD. They chase after him. Yoku trapped in with the shard, trying to run away, but there's just too much damage from the big wolf. They chase after a Aloha Dance as well. Into the tree, storm up, and they get the kill with a burst damage out from Daz. It looked like Empire was finding something, then LGD just hit back. But they did get a kill on the AM.
Absolutely perfect duels from Xiao. It makes a really big difference in that fight. Sure, it's a 0-man Sonic Wave, but it was supposed to be a 1-man Sonic Wave. It's not like he airballed in like 3 or 4 potential targets, but Xiao's timing was perfect, and he is able to come back in that fight with multiple spells off afterwards instead of just flat out dying and making it a 5-on-3. I still think it's super ballsy from Empire to try to go for that play. So Silent has almost no health after the fight. They did get the kill on Storm. He has Bloodstone though, so he would be respawning like 10 seconds after they went on for the engage on the Lina. And they still try to chase that. It feels like they're stressing a little bit in this game so far with their plays, like missed spells, rush decisions. And as a matter of fact, you know, it's just Empire's playstyle. It's what we've talked about. They're a very aggressive team, but this is the kind of game where they need to play more slow and calculated. And so far, they've managed to get the farm. They haven't really managed to execute the fights they have been forced into that well.
I think anyone on the TI5 stage would be nervous. And Team Empire, not any exception right now. But they are still sitting in a position where they're not out of this game just yet. The advantage, of course, is heavily there for LGD. They almost peaked up a 5k net worth advantage. The experience, hilariously, LGD haven't led this entire game, but they're very close to, for the first time in 26 minutes, getting up on the top of it all.
The thing is, being even at minute 25 means they're leaving. Like, that's just, their lineup is simply just stronger right now. Or especially in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Having an even draft like that and the farm distribution the way it is easily good enough. Now they take the last two. And the question is when the next Sean is. So it's in about 40 seconds it looks like. So we'll probably see LGD try to set up for that. And they can kill it off really, really fast.
And does Team Empire even try and stop this? You do have RP available, but the Magnus isn't really in any good condition to fight right now. He buys a 4-star, so you'll have some more maneuverability to play around with when it comes to the rope pit. Resolution, quick blink away, maybe, is not going to chase any further. Resolution's also finding some good cash, 2.7k over on him. And is this a time where you look for the BKB, or is almost Lincoln Sphere going to be a better thing when you're going up against a hero like a Storm Spirit?
I think he needs BKB. There's simply too much between Storm, Tusk, and Lina to be able to deal with in the fights. But even then, he still can't play super aggressively with the Quab. If he goes for blinks similar to what Silent did in the last game, and he blinks into the enemy team very aggressively, Lycan's going to kill him before Blink is off cooldown again. So then he's going to need the 4-step from Yoku to be used defensively, or they're going to need to land a good RP when the Lycan goes on Quab. Maybe they only get a 1-hero RP then, which is not ideal. There's definitely a couple of problems to deal with here for Empire. Now, the good news for them is, even if they're behind a melee ranks and the things are not going too well, they haven't slowed down their farm, and they do have the Bounty Hunter. And with the overall goal of the game being pretty even, they can get a pretty big swing out of just winning a fight right now, or just trading, right?
Team Empire gets Sentry, Storm Spirit jumps in, Yao very quickly on the way, but Aloha Dance stays alive. They're going to glimpse attempted Yao back, but he moves so quickly. Now Storm can go in again. They just jump over top of Aloha Dance, still no detection. Now it's going to be there, but skewer back. Maybe he's out of mana. There's nothing more to give, but they've already taken out the disrupt here, LGD. As Empire move into the Radiant jungle, Roshan is alive and fighting.
Good fight for Empire. They trade 1-for-1, core for support. Yes, sure, the core suicides, but Lycan has used everything. He's used Book, he's used his ultimate. They're even going to clean up the Necro units here for an extra 400 gold for Silent. And Magnus is closing in on higher levels. And this is really important, because this, I know I'm talking about the Empower a lot, but it makes a really big difference for Silent to get that 30% damage and cleave.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, Aloha Dance, well, I'm not sure what the plan was there. Maybe just giving them information. Even if he gets ganked, they know where they are. Oh, the smash from Roche.
Silence trying to get rid of the dogs. And yeah, he's smashed by Roshan, so he's unable to do so.
And they still have RP, by the way, which LGD probably would have noticed if he used it, so they know it's available.
Are they coming in?
And that's
to try
what could have
and
allowed
take
them to Roche, is that they still have the RP for Empire. It's a big threat.
Empire's backed up to take care of the middle lane, but now LGD, they start going on Roshan, and Roshan is dropping so quickly that RP has to come now. They're smoking, so they're moving very, very quickly. The blink blind and maybe blind RP would catch out too. They jump in with the anti-mage. You'll step they're up already over on Silent. He evades the light strike array, and maybe, well, Yao actually keeping the rest of Empire at bay. The Umstar always want to fly a Laguna Blade. They bring down the Disruptor, so there's no storm here, but Silence let the ulti go. Yoku, again with that skewer, trying to get back in range of his own tier 3 tower. Roshan did die, and it went the way of the Storm Spirit.
I'm not sure if Empire could have held that, but it looks like a little bit of a blunder that LGD just get it completely for free. They're going to go in. There has to be a good RP now. The game is probably over for them already.
Wait for the jump. There it is over an Aloha dance. The Weasels looking to go to work, and Aloha dance. Wow, that's not a great time for him. But a Mana Void tearing apart the Storm. Remember, there's the Aegis of the Gen's over on the deck. MMY be able to grab it. They're snowballing in. In fact, maybe back to World of Living. Right after Yoku. Still no RP. Where are the buybacks that don't exist for Team Empire? But the Anti-Mage is able to find a couple of kills. Silent trying to run out of here. Resolution staying on the tail. How long will that survival last? And it's going to be long enough. Silence back to base. They find MMY. Yule Scepter cancelling that TP out. Maybe still in the name. He can't do anything. The gem is lost for LGD. A triple kill for the Anti-Mage. That will actually help him complete the full butterfly on the Anti-Mage. But they lost the range racks. Not really a bad trade-off at the end of the day if you look at it. No buybacks from Empire.
This is definitely good enough for Empire. And it's a good sign for them that they can win the fight without using RP, right? Hasn't used it all game? Maybe used it once. He did one-man RP, I think.
Every time he tries to jump in, it just seems like he's getting torn apart.
LGD are very good at spreading out, and both the Tusk and the Storm are paying a lot of attention to Mag and counterplaying him whenever he's trying to go for anything. They just drop Orchid or Snowball onto him and counter him out very well. But Empire still managed to get a pretty good fight out of that, all in all.
So this Anti-Mage is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
The Lycan and Storm are kind of like the two major heroes that have to control him. Can they do this while he's got Butterfly up and running? Like, you need a Monkey King bar over on the Lycan, but is that really the path he wants to go down? And is that even going to be enough? Because by the time he gets that, Sam will have his next IM. Be it hard or whatever.
I think with an MKB, even a hard Lycan is still going to kind of hurt really hard. I would definitely say it's the way to go now for Salar, is MKB or BKB, whatever he thinks is most important. So far he hasn't needed the BKB, he hasn't died yet, even though he's against the Queen of Pain and of course the Disruptor with that static storm damage output and all the magic damage from even Magnus and Bounty. He's still able to play it pretty well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see an MKB build up. I'm just... You know, that last fight, the reason it's as easy as it is for Empire is that Storm went for the jump. They find a kill on Aloha Dance, who is like the least valuable target. Of course you remove the track, but as far as fight output goes, like what he does is track. That's what he has. He can't really do that much else, but he trades like 3/4 of his mana pool for that, and AM blows up the Lina with the Mana Void and the Storm. So they lose Aegis and Lina for the bounty. And that, of course, is going to be very difficult for them. So might need to be a little more careful. Might need to get a Lycan on the Storm, or even a BKB. And that fight goes very, very differently.
Well, he's got money. He's got 4k gold over on that Storm Spirit. So it will be possible. At the same time, Team Empire, they're getting stronger and stronger with their defense now. Like, even like normal heroes having this Empower buff up, they're going to be take care of the mid lane without having to have Anti-Mage there every time. And the attack into the tower, like this tier 2 tower might be fortified right now, but the backdoor regen, like he just leaves it with the illusions. Silent's already out. There's farm to be had on top, and he's moving wherever he can get bigger and bigger.
These Ills are doing a lot of damage. They hit for like 10 a swing, and they hit really fast.
Yeah, the tower, that was easy.
Oh, now regen kicks in. He got it down to 1/4.
It's not bad. He took all of the Radiant, well, most of the Radiant creeps before that. TP's up to top lane, takes a creep wave and a half, jumps into one of the camps, takes that, then back up to take out the creep wave. And now you're seeing him at 23,000 net worth. Like, the Lycan can't keep up with this kind of speed. Not that level of farming, at least.
I'm very curious to see where Silent goes here. I think the The obvious choices right now would be either a BKB or an Abyssal in the standard AM builds, or maybe a Heart, which I think is not the best choice here.
So you're thinking Abyssal for more of like lockdown control, so he can actually kill LGD as opposed to survive LGD?
It depends what you're aiming for, right? The Heart is the best item for him probably in terms of just EHP against a Lycan, especially if you anticipate the MKB to come. That would be Heart, yeah. So it's very good against Lycan, and to an extent also against the Storm. But
okay, Silent blinks up very aggressively, but now he's got a Mana Style. There's no Light Strike Array follow-up. He's just going to take the Agents away from the Lycan. But that's a very aggressive blink from Silent.
The alternative would have been, so if he goes BKB, he is not threatened by Lina or Storm, or very little by Tusk, like it's a Walrus Punch and that's it. On the other hand, Lycan can maybe carve through him. With this Heart build, it's vice versa, right? He can get disabled a lot. I still think they will really struggle to kill him. And maybe the idea is, well, if I have a Heart and they use a lot of disables on me, that's probably going to set up for Resolution to get a good Sonic Wave, and maybe for Yoku to get a good RP, and then it all doesn't matter. So
to use Silent more as bait. I suppose he could also just farm up the buyback gold anyway if he really needs to.
Yeah. I wouldn't say as bait, more than, you know, he doesn't have to feel the pressure of having to output a lot during a BKB timing, but rather just being able to, you know, play aggressively in general over a stretched fight is probably what he's aiming for here with the
LGD are coming after Silent. Sylar already into Lycan form, but Silent saw him and he's just trying to run himself away. This is a 5-man smoking. He's got to blink again. And that's a long jump down for Maybe, and a 4-man smoke committal coming out from LGD.
Yeah, Empire could actually go for a counterplay right now. I think Storm was already lost half his mana. Well, he's going to regen it now, so they had to do it pretty much right away. And he will go for it at this point with Silent with the Heart, 3k health.
This looks like they're trying to secure the tier 2 tower, but Roshan, like, we still have just under 2 minutes until his potential spawn time. And Team Empire will have this in the back of their mind. If they can get... Well, then again, is this another one of those points where you don't want to see the Aegis over on Silent? That you would give it to Resolution in this game? Or even to Magnus, considering Yoku hasn't got himself an ulti off yet, or a big one.
Oh, wait a second, he showed himself in mid. This opens up bottom lane for LGD.
They dive in deep and they just keep going. The snowball again disrupt a heavy commitment. Maybe he's down to a low percentage of his mana pool, but finally opening a Resolution. Orkin, and he self-fuels it to try and get out. Now in comes Silent, focusing on him and White. He's out of the fight for now, but he's lost 2 of his teammates. They move over to the Mana Void, ripping apart the Lina. Over towards Yahoo, who's also dry with a blink up. Maybe he jumps in again, but lower deaths, keeping these Shuri tosses flying. Maybe he's on the run out. He needs to keep the mana low, and Silent's gonna do so. Lycan back to the fight. Silent turns over now on Sylar. He needs more help, and then maybe Beast up. There's your Shuri toss coming out. Anime finds one, and the Kareem is a double kill. It keeps going. Silent, madly Dota. Empire will get a triple kill and wiping the entire side of LGD from the face of the earth. And Aloha Dance survives.
He does so much damage. Like, look at this cleave he has. This is level 3 in power as well as the Battle Fury. If their heroes are even remotely close to each other, Silent will 3 or 4 hit like 3 of their heroes. Only the Lycan is really tanky right now.
If we believe
Storm has decent tankiness.
If we believe our teamfight recap, it said he did just shy of 8,500 damage during that fight.
That sounds about right.
It's big. And now takes tier 2, pushes tier 3, Storm Spirit's gonna jump out. Start, remember, he's still pretty tanky. Laguna played. He's just shrugging it off. This shield, and now it's actually Xiao 8. No, there is a mana void available. He needs to burn more mana. You'll set the an Anti-Mage. He's still got 1,700 life. They're working through it. Now Yao's back, punching him up. Silent, get out of town. He's down for the count. Silent managing to jump out by Maybe, finding a Aloha Dance with the Orchid. They're gonna catch out too. They might have survived, but Empire just gave so much back to LGD.
Xiao 8 is such a baller. That was like incredible timing 2 or 3 times in a row there. The way they change their disables and just buy time and slowly whittle him down so the Heart never regens him, that was, to me, that was the best play of the entire game. The way they just killed Anti-Mage here. Absolutely incredible chaining. Read on the fight and what they could do. And now they end up forcing out a buyback as well. Because Empire are probably scared that Roshan is going to be taken right now. He's not spawned, but they don't know.
Well, they got no way to scout out for it either.
Incredible. Again, LGD's high ground defense is just like out of this world. That was fantastic.
Look at him smoke and move. Like, Silent's going to blink straight in, looking for Roshan, but no one's there. And LGD, like, now that the buybacks come out from Anti-Mage, they don't have to worry. If they can get a dieback on this Anti-Mage, it's so big. Like, you might have 2,700 net worth, 27,000 net worth compared to the 19,000 of the Lycan, but it doesn't mean anything if you're dead. And they can put him in the ground and not be able to bring it back up. So there's the 1 minute counter now on Roshan.
And the fact that Silent just bought back is gonna... It puts a lot of pressure on Empire. Like, they felt pressure because Roshan could spawn. If they knew the Roshan spawn timer, he wouldn't have bought back, and they would have been in a way better position. Right now, any big mistake from Silent is game over.
All these movements from Empire being watched so closely, the dogs are just sitting behind them. Aloha Dance lost the gem by sticking around too long with the anti-mage in that bottom lane. And because of that, LGD, they can just keep tabs on all the movements of Empire. So once again, like the D-Ward's going to be there, but the Wolves come up. Silent actually managed to find an isolated Xiao Wei, and they should be able to find this kill. Support, where is it coming? In fact, Storm Spirit jumped to the side. They took out Disruptor, but the ultimate from Xiao Wei is delaying so much. The final track did come in. The Silent to the front lines. How much damage? He's still chasing after a Aloha Dance. The Sonic Wave. Silent dropping so low. He doesn't have much more to give until the Shallow Grave will keep him up. Maybe isolating Yoku. He doesn't even get the RP off once again. Silent diving so deep, it's actually Resolution that finally finds that kill over on Sylar. But where is his anti-mage going? Chasing after Yao. The track is up again. The mini stuns. Yao so low. He's waiting on the mana void, realizing the Shallow Grave is coming back in again from Dazzle, as maybe TP out with that ball lining going to work. Yao, they still see him with the track. But Empire can't force the issue that deep once again. But Roshan is up. May only have 2 heroes alive, but it's 2 big ones.
Yeah, Sound can solo it. So... They should be fine. 50 seconds on the late game. This is an Aegis for Resolution, I think.
Yep, but there's also Cheese. The courier, I think, is already on its way out to pick that up. So they can save it for later. And maybe, is this the time? He doesn't have BKB, however. So if he jumps in here, he could just get Yule set it up the second he arrives. Roshan down to 4,000. Yao with the shards. He's going to try and isolate. Roshan's still there. Silent actually pushed up on the cliffside. He'll blink back down again, but now the rest of LGD has arrived. Maybe BKB, 6 seconds, and they actually leave Roshan. Silent with the weave on him. He's losing armor quickly, and the rest of Empire's not ready yet, but that RP is from Yoku, giving the buff up to Silent. The Sigil keeping close tabs as well on Empire's progress, and Roshan now 800 life. Where's the opening? Are they coming? In fact, I think LGD to say it's too much effort. We're gonna let him have it.
Look at that defense. Immediately when Roshan dies. They're respecting LGD a lot here, thinking that the Storm will go for that. Immediately blink in the Quap, skewer in the Magnus.
Maybe he was in the right position. Like the rest of LGD were there. But it just must mean like you had all the time in the world to discuss, are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And they said, this anime, I cannot believe how much money he has got. It's almost 30,000 net worth over on Silent. He's actually going at 789 gold per minute. His experience is almost the same at 770. The closest to him on the Radiant side, well, is actually Sylar at 503. That's as close as you get. There's such a huge difference in the cause right now. And he's almost managed to wait out his entire buyback time. He's got another 3 minutes to burn here.
Now the thing is, we've reached the late game part now when Empire kind of peaks, I think. When Anti-Mage has the Abyssal, this is the peak of their lineup. Come super late game, based on the farm that Yoku has got this game, I think the chance of a refresher is pretty low. There's going to need to be a couple of good fights with Track, and then they might just win the game off that before he gets refresher.
Yep.
But if that doesn't happen, and AM is maxed out very soon, Lycan has a lot of room to grow, so does Storm. The Tusk can actually grow into a decent semi-carry if they want, and it looks like Xiao Wei's Lina in this game is actually aiming for a Hex, which he has the ultimate orb for already on this. This is like a Lotus Orb build. Why did I say Lotus Orb?
I don't know.
Linken's build. He could go for a defensive item, right? So I think it's Hex. It could be a Linken's if they feel like it's useful here to protect the Storm, but I think he's getting his own anyway. It looks like he at least has an ultimate orb himself as well. Tough to say. But they definitely have more room to grow than the Dire line. Like, this Bounty Hunter is not going anywhere this game. And Disruptor has a point booster minute 43. So
yep.
It's definitely about LGD's growth.
I'm still seeing Anti-Mage though right now dishing out almost 400 damage a cleave, and he's almost got the money as well for the full Abyssal Blade. The issue he's going to have is, well, his mana style timing is going to be really important. Now you also get a Heaven's Halberd over on Yao. He's got the potential to disarm the Anti-Mage, and this can be after the other initiations come in. But it looks like Empire not wanting to wait the clock out. They're coming down. They're looking for the opening. In fact, there's the full Abyssal Blade. Anti-Mage just buys it. This means he has no buyback anyway, so yeah, why even worry about it? Just go for broke. And they've almost taken the tier 2 tower. The creep wave doesn't stand a chance against this anti-mage.
Middle tower has
And the rest of
fallen.
Empire. Now, how much damage can they do and how quickly can they do it? The Solar Crest being used on the anti-mage, so attacking him is almost impossible right now. The only thing they can do is try and disable him, but they're using Silent as a punky bag, and he just jumps in! Destroys the Dazzle! No Shadow Grip, but maybe looking for revenge and always want to fly! An ulti, can he get something off? He actually can! Splitting up this engagement! Sylar, he got chased down, but again, so much commitment for the Disruptor, while Xiao Wade inside the base, there's your bash! Got it on Sylar, the Sonic Wave! It'll do some work! Resolution still low, taking too much damage from the tower, but Yoku's forward, and there's your Mana Void! Xiao Wade will drop, Yao's trying to run out here, Sylar will rip down a mate, back into the fight, doing as much as he can. Aloha Dance, low at the moment. RP still up for Team Empire. It hasn't happened, but at the same time, they've only lost one hero. If Yoku can just ensure one more, they can potentially take double racks and force us into a third game here.
Radiant's bottom back. Radiant's bottom back.
They can mega before the two, before Lina and Tusk respawn.
What's
So LGD has the time
He's
for a play.
jumping in. Yoku, your time, man. It is your time for ultimate. They get rid of the wolves. The melee Rex is going. Yoku, he's silenced up again. He can't do anything, but maybe a pistol blade. And there's your Soul Spirit going down. That's Team Empire find the combo. Sylar to the front lines, beating into Resolution, going for Aloha. Now Sylar losing his mana, losing his life, forced back again. It's still a double raxing Empire. They're going up to MMY. It's this stand push. They're moving up. They need the tier 3 towers. The fog for Maze, it's real for Empire. They're so close to forcing a third game. No mistakes.
Yeah, backdoor regen is going to kick in and they will give up on getting the third lane. So LGD managed to buy themselves some time there, sacrificing a Storm, sacrificing a Dazzle. And they still lose 2 lanes of racks, and now it's just...
All of these kills with track as well.
Yeah, they have buyback. They now have buyback on Antimage. He can buy Moon Shard, or he can buy Boots of Travel 2, whatever he feels like is most important. And they should be able to just take this one home by slow playing it, really. Just slow sieging top. They just put Crest onto him, and he starts hitting the tower. And LGD has to start hard committing. If they do it right now, Sylar won't have the KB, and the Antimage is like almost impossible to bring down.
It's a crazy game for Team Empire. After game 1, as the boys in the panel were saying, it was a solid performance by Team Empire. They just had to do the same thing, but finish. Like, that's what it's all about. You've got 2 Raxes down to your 1 in mid lane.
That's the Moon Shard.
Alright, consumed straight away.
But this time
he's still got money for buyback.
They went for a completely different approach this time, though. And it seemed like whenever Empire are in important games, we also saw it against Virtus Pro. I think that was... It was at least one of the games against Virtus Pro to fight for 4th place. They also pulled out the Silent Antimage, who we got a funny stat on in that game. Hadn't been played since 2014. He hadn't played Antimage this year. And now his first Antimage performance in the group stage was great. They won that game, I do believe, and looks like it's going to be another. Maybe that is the secret hero. The secret hero for Empire to win the key games.
This is the movement from LGD. They're going to try and wrap in around behind Team Empire. The Courier's delivering in the gem at the moment, and they actually attack the Courier with the Wolves. This might flag back to Empire. They're behind him, and maybe the jump off the Abyssal. They control him in the RP! Get down two with the Sonic Wave, the Snowball! Protect him long enough! Maybe down, jump himself away! He's trying to chase up the kill, and then even glimpsing him back. Sylar down for the count. This could be it. Yao's on the run back. You have your buyback coming in from the Lycan, but he's losing his teammate so quickly, and Anti-Mage carving him apart. GG! Team Empire will take game number 2 here, up against the clear favorites for this matchup with an ultra kill for Silent. The Russians have hope here against LGD, forcing to a game 3. I always want to quote everyone coming into this whole TI5. Any game is winnable by any team. Yeah, anything is possible.
This was very solid by Empire. They didn't really lose out too much in the early game. Honestly, I also don't feel like LGD pressured them that much in the lanes, but they played their game plan. LGD got early racks. They didn't lose their composure, Empire, this game, and had a good fight in their base and just started slowly building up momentum. And then when their lineup peaked, they made sure to get the job done. So. Yeah.